Well, good. Thank you so much for that. Well, here with me in studio right now, Katie Phang, attorney and host of the Katie Phang Show here on MSNBC. Take your pictures later, my friend.
I'm sitting next to Hugo and Lachlan.
I know, that's
so
the
I
point.
gotta take a
Sitting
picture
next to Hugo with the perfect hair, political investigations reporter with The Guardian. And on the opposite side of the desk here, we've got Lachlan Cartwright. I'm glad to welcome him. He, of course, the executive editor of the National Enquirer, when its catch and kill policy buried those stories about Donald Trump. He is now a special correspondent for The Hollywood Reporter. So I welcome you all. A pretty significant week out there. Let's lay out what happened in week 3 with you, Hugo. Talk about how crucial Hope Hicks's testimony was to this case.
Super crucial. I think she was the highlight of the entire day yesterday, not least because I think she strengthened the prosecution's case in 2 major ways in this very significant moment when she relayed a description of what Trump had told her was about Cohen paying the hush money to the women. And she basically revealed 2 things. First of all, that Trump had direct knowledge that Cohen was paying hush money. It wasn't for legal expenses or legal retainers. And second of all, she cast doubt on the theory of the case that Trump has been pushing, which is that this was all Cohen freelancing. He was going rogue. He was acting out of supposed selflessness because she said, you know, Michael Cohen's not that kind of guy. You know, he doesn't act selflessly. He likes to take credit.
Yeah, for sure. The beginning of the testimony, if we go back to that with you, Katie, this was about really the campaign scramble.
Oh, yeah.
When they were hearing about the Access Hollywood tape, they'd been alerted to it. They knew it was going to be released. Let's take a listen to part of her testimony there, or give you a refresher to that because we couldn't hear her testimony. But here it is.
Start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just right on your way. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the.
Okay, yeah, so that can't be entered into evidence, but the jury was allowed to hear it, right? So talk about how that played into Hicks's testimony, about the campaign reaction to this and what she laid out there.
So it's fascinating, Alex, because the reason why Judge Merchan would not allow the actual audio in is because he said it would be so prejudicial to have the actual voice of Donald Trump saying that, and that was Billy Bush as well, that the transcript was entered into evidence. And even right now, you still, I mean, we heard it, but when you hear it, it's just still jarring, right?
So they didn't hear what was on it. It was merely transcript.
It was
read to them.
It was read to them.
Okay, good distinction.
And the reason why it was even more jarring is you then heard it through Hope Hicks, of all people, and then you heard this mad dash and the panic and all hell breaking loose in the Trump campaign to try to do damage control over this tape. And you heard how the concern is that it directly impacted the campaign. Nobody said it directly impacted Trump's marriage to Melania. Nobody said it impacted Trump's his relationship with his children. It was, what the hell are we going to do as the campaign to make sure that we can do damage control? And to Hugo's point, from a structural standpoint, you start your direct examination by the prosecution of Hope Hicks, and then you get Emil Bovee up to do the cross-examination. But the very last testimony that we get from her on direct by the prosecution is her admitting that she didn't think Michael Cohen was charitable or selfless enough to do this, meaning make the payments without Donald Trump knowing. But then the last thing she literally said was, I think Mr. Trump's opinion was it was better to be dealing with it now, and that it would have been bad to have that story come out before the election. That's the 1-2. That's the knockout punch from Hope Hicks to Donald Trump's defense. Not only is it not Michael Cohen going rogue and making these payments, but it really always had to do with the impact on the campaign, which is the prosecution's case.
Let's get to you and what you were doing at this time. You were at the National Enquirer when all this was happening, and she described the panic ahead of the 2020 election there. What was your takeaway? I'm curious, as you sat in this courtroom, it's taking you back to that time. And also the campaign's efforts, at least initially. Hope Hicks did testify saying the initial reaction was deny, deny, deny.
Yeah, and again, that kept coming through the strategy of just deny, deny, deny. You know, they were in such a meltdown over the Access Hollywood tape. And then here is Stormy Daniels. She comes on the scene. She's looking for a payoff. She's talking at that point to my direct boss, Dylan Howard, who we've learned won't be testifying because he's in Australia and there's an apparent spinal condition that means he won't be giving evidence. But it's clear that during that period, the campaign's in total meltdown. Here you have Stormy Daniels with the damaging story of her affair, with the president. And so then my direct boss, Dylan Howard, is in discussions with Michael Cohen and Keith Davidson, who we heard from this week, in trying to get this story off the market. And David Pecker, the CEO of American Media, the company I used to work for, testified that he's not a bank. He'd already done 2 of these payoffs. He'd already taken Dino the Doorman off the market for $30K and then done the further payment to Karen McDougal for $150K. So he says to Dylan Howard, go let them take care of it, as in Michael Cohen and the campaign. And Dylan Howard still gets involved with it. There is this negotiation going on with Keith Davidson and Michael Cohen to take Stormy Daniels off the market, which they end up doing.
Would you say there was a panic inside the National Enquirer about this?
I think the panic was more going on at the campaign.
Yeah.
You know, I think the panic was going on within the campaign. And then, you know, the corporation was being asked of Dylan Howard to help and David Pecker to help take this off the market.
Okay. So Hope Hicks broke out in tears. That was really pretty memorable. You were there, Hugo. Talk about the reaction, the moment in the courtroom when she did that. What did people think? Did they think crocodile tears? Did they feel sorry for her? Did they feel it's just an expression of stress or that she feels badly? What was the interpretation of that?
Yeah, look, it wasn't like she burst into tears. It was actually quite slight. You know, she was kind of testifying and her voice kind of quivered for a moment, and then she kind of turned away and she kind of asked for a break, and the judge granted it. So it wasn't like an outflowing of tears, but she clearly broke down.
Well, she said she was nervous at the very top. I mean, everybody knew that.
And that was also very telling. You know, when Hope Hicks walked into the courtroom, and I was on the overflow side, I could see Trump's face as she walked in. You know, Trump basically tracked her walking in, looking at her the entire time. Hope Hicks sits down, and he's looking directly at Hope Hicks the entire time. She doesn't look at him, but he's looking at her. And then she has this moment at the start when she's speaking very, very softly, and the judge says, you know, please speak into the mic. And then there's a second time when the prosecutor says, please speak into the mic because we can't hear you. And that's when she says, sorry, I'm just very nervous. I think the tears came potentially in part because she knew what she was saying was a gift to the prosecution. I mean, she effectively said that it was all to do with the election at the very end, you know, to Katie's point, and that Trump wanted to deal with this at the time that he did, because if it had come close to the election, that would have been a problem. And I wonder if the gravity of that moment and the weight of what she was saying finally hit her, and then that was kind of what prompted her to break down.
Which then the defense, Katie, how did they handle cross-examination immediately after that? Do you think they had to pull back from what they might have intended?
No. And I think what wasn't asked of Hope Hicks was how much she had spoken with the defense team before she took the stand. I mean, there's no rule or law that prevents the prosecution or the defense. It's choreography. It's a perfectly choreographed event that happens when you go to court. If you have not met with or prepared a witness for their testimony, you haven't done your job as a lawyer. I would bet my bottom dollar that at a minimum, Hope Hicks' lawyer had communications with the Trump defense team to know what she was going to be saying when she walked into that courtroom. It doesn't mean Trump spoke to her, but I certainly know that they knew on the defense's side what she was going to say. So no, they didn't dial it back. And I don't have any sympathy for her. And I will stand true with this idea that I don't know why she cried, and I don't really care. She chose to go back to the Trump orbit. She was treated as family. She knew what he was all about in the public and the private worlds of Donald Trump. And she was subpoenaed to appear. She's not like she volunteered to show up. And so in my opinion, you know, you lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas. I mean, there is nobody with clean hands in this. And in my opinion, I don't think Hope Hicks deserves any sympathy. What about the thousands of Americans that were damaged by the Trump administration? And the fact that she went back to try to help him get another run at it in 2020 is galling to me. And so tough stuff. You had to show up, Hope Hicks, but I will give her some small modicum of credit that it seems to me she told the truth.
And that, I think, was really crucial, because the reaction from inside the courtroom, at least, was one of kind of believability. Because here's someone who, as you say, you know, went back into Trump world when she didn't have to, you know, clearly has some sort of loyalty still to Trump in a way, because, you know, she was very complimentary of Trump at the start of her testimony. And then for her then to make the incriminating comments that she did, the incriminating testimony, I think probably speaks to her credibility more.
Well, listen, it was suggested that, I mean, everything that she's achieved today, she started working right out of college. She went to SMU. She comes back. She starts working for the Trump organization. She owes kind of her career, right, such as it is. She has a consulting firm now. So there's a level of loyalty. You've got to just presume that because of what she feels that she owes them?
Yeah, she worked for a PR company, Hill 6 Strategies, and she was repping at that point Ivanka. So that's her parlay into her professional life. She owes everything to the Trumps and to the Trump organization. And it was fascinating for me to see her on the stand. She appears incredibly broken, I think, by all of this. She was very fragile. But to Katie's point, she got involved. She went back, for more. And, I found her testimony yesterday incredibly striking, as you were saying, Hugo, because she really did go for that kill shot. That really solidified that Donald Trump had knowledge over that payoff. And that's the through line, I think, that the prosecution has been looking for. We've been building up to this moment. David Pecker, Keith Davidson, Hope Hicks. This is all leading up to Michael Cohen that I think we'll get to in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll have to see when that's going to happen. You guys, you've both been on mega duty today. I'm going to release you here. You go, Katie. Thank you so much for that. Not you, though. You got to stick around, Lachlan. But all of you can also watch Katie's show. Of course, it precedes this one on Saturdays at noon Eastern time, right here on MSNBC.